Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another edition of the Nuke Stream, or not Nuke Stream, but Dating Q&A. Same, but different. Today, just quick Q&A, see what you guys' mind, what you guys want to talk about, and all that stuff. It is a lovely fall morning. The breeze was very nice this morning, and all that stuff. But yeah, um, it is now Wednesday, as you guys know, as the weekend draws nearer and the weather gets colder, women are more available all of a sudden. Um, and the dating apps start maybe getting a little bit more favorable. If not the dating apps, women in your social circles, women that you just see around, approaches, whatever, are going to be a little bit more open to going on dates. Right? It is that time of year where it's called what women call cuffing season and all that stuff. Um, but yeah, I'm just glad that you guys understand that and take advantage because again, the name of the game is strategy, right? You can't strategy is always going to be easier. You know, if we liken dating to an RPG game, you can force your character to be and max out their one stat, right? And yes, you'll win, but you'll win and you won't like it, right? You won't enjoy the process, whether it be a strength stat or a magic stat. uh, if you go all in on one of those, you'll get through some of the game, but it'll be like if you get killed in one hit, right? By in a video game because you didn't also level up your defense stat, or the enemy will have exactly what you have as a weakness as their main form of attack, right? Like in Pokemon, right? If you got a Pokemon that's dragon flying, one small ice beam can finish it, no matter how leveled up you are, and that's why you have to max out, or sorry, not max out, but work on other things. And really, strategy is what the game developers or Mother Nature want you to have, not just brute forcing one stat or brute forcing your way through the game. So brute forcing would be like money, right? Only status, where yeah, status and money will take you far, but it kicks a problem or down the road. It kicks the can down the road in terms of the initial interaction and all that stuff. So yeah, let me know if you guys can hear me. I'm having a little bit of audio issues. Let me check something here real quick, guys. Um, let me see. Okay. Yeah, I moved some stuff around on my desk setup, but yeah, it looks like I could hear it through my headphones, so we're good. But yeah, guys, strategy is the name of the game. Don't let yourself think that if you just max out one stat like everyone kind of perceives. Guys that don't date, guys that only understand women in the abstract or women, all think it's just one stat that you have to like. It's money, bro, or it's looks, bro. I'm like, it's everything. Now, do you have to max out everything? No, because you'll be exhausted and tired by the end. You'll grind your whole life just to make money for women, and they'll take it anyway. So like you want to have the best way to protect your money, right, is always going to be game. And that's just kind of a stretch in terms of you know dating and all that stuff. But if you think about it, the thing you're going to spend the most on in your lifetime is probably women. If you don't believe me, read Cappy's book, not Bachelor Pad Economics, the one that goes, I think, after it. I don't know which one. I forgot what it's called, where he talks about the ROI of dating women. So if you have game, you spend less money on women. That's just it is what it is. Guys with game just literally spend less money on women because they don't have to make up for lack of charm and charisma and logistics and all that stuff with money, which is what a lot of guys do. When guys don't know how to solve a problem, they tend to just throw money at it. And we know that women are a never-ending pit of dissatisfaction when it comes to resources. So if you throw money at women, they're just going to want more. There's never going to be an amount where women are going to be happy. Whether you start out earning, $150 a day all the way to up to you're a millionaire, that same woman throughout your life will demand more and more and more from you. So don't lead with that. Um, and it's pretty simple, and that's why you do everything. So yeah, Daily Melons. Good morning. I like your username, my friend. But yeah, guys, you don't want to be that guy to max out only one stat. Uh, And think of it like this: when you guys play like modern video games, modern RPGs, modern strategy, modern action adventure, whatever. Like let's say a game like Final Fantasy Tactics that everyone's playing. There's different classes and there are different ways to, attack the monsters or get the mission done. It doesn't have to be one way. And that's another thing you guys understand. Like everyone has their own environment, culture, all that stuff in which they have to operate. Are there basic things you have to know that apply to all women and dating? Of course, yes. But everyone has to calibrate to their environment, to their health, to their schedule, to the amount of money they make, right? If you make a lot of money, it's gonna be hard to hide it. Eventually, a girl's gonna pick up that like, hey, this guy is making much more money than me, right? So you may have to calibrate your approach to that. Do I know how to calibrate it? A little bit. We can talk notes, right? But there's probably a rich guy in the chat right now that like has it down. And that's why we're here is to trade notes. It's not that I am the ultimate guru. It's that I just want to create an environment where guys come in, say their piece, and I'd be like, oh, interesting. I didn't know that. And that's really how to win is trading notes, not here. Like eventually what happens online is that whenever men start talking about dating and stuff, it becomes a pissing contest because men are more interested in making themselves look good to an audience that really doesn't care about them that much than they are like trading notes and helping their fellow man. So, hey, what's up, Bakes Online? Nice to see you too. Um, yeah, you guys shuffle in little by little. Uh, we'll talk and all that stuff. So we got 9 of you watching on YouTube and 55 on X. So thank you guys for watching this morning. And like the video on your way in or on your way out. So thank you. Uh, but yeah, nothing too interesting on the timeline this morning. So yeah, hold on. I just saw a crazy image that I didn't want to see on. That's the problem with Twitter. Like I wish there was like a non like a work safe version of Twitter, but then it would lose a lot of money, right? That's crazy. So, yeah, let's see. I'll go to my page to see what's popular on the timeline and all that stuff. Um, let's see. Okay, I had a follower say women are your best advertisers. Yeah, we could talk about that. I don't know. Okay, so I went viral. So I did again, guys. I went viral with 2 different posts. When I say viral, virality has multiple meanings depending. I asked Grok, what does virality really mean? And really, virality is just something that's just way beyond what you're used to. That's that's what uh the average person says. Like if you have 100 followers and you go, you have a post that's 10,000 impressions when you usually only get like 1,000. I think it's like 100 times more than what you're used to in terms of engagement. Sure, I say it's a million. That's where I draw my definition. You guys may disagree, but a million is something that you're like, whoa, cool. This post must have done some damage, or this post must be a pain point or something, right? Um, so yeah. Oh, we got a $2, £2 super chat. You get one of these, sir.
Thank you so much, best friend.
All right, marriage causes divorce with the £2 super chat. What is your definition of frame? Frame is who you are, right? It is everything you are. It's one of those hard to define things because it's just so deep within your psyche. Guys with frame don't even know that they have the frame, right? They just know that it's my way or the highway, that everything else outside of them is either amusing, not important, or just whatever. It's not relevant to you. And I'll say this, frame think of it like this. Whenever an issue, a problem, an event, a concept is all introduced to you, um, think of it like this. What does this have to do with me? Right? And that's frame. Like how frame is like you are the worldview is your own, and you look at through how things affect you and what does this have to do with you, right? So when we say guys are taken out of their frame, right, they start worrying about things that are external to them, up to the point where they're having emotional response. Everything's external to them. If a girl says something crazy, they crash out, or they whether it be in person or online. um, they don't see they don't see the world as as going after them, or they don't see that they just see that like, how does this benefit me? How does this work for me? You know, that innate solipsism that women have. That's why we say women are frame masters and men are frame children, right? Because men are easily put in the frame of other men and women, but women have an innate solipsism that kind of, even if they are the more vulnerable sex, they seem to be able to manipulate situations and other people and other women and even society at large to their will. And that's, you got to think about that for a second, right? Because isn't men have all the logic, the strength, and you know all the other things that make us like more able to handle the real world, right? Spatial awareness, deductive reasoning, all that stuff. But women still tend to control a lot of society and all that stuff. And it's just look at what women do and how they act sometimes, and realize that why we say women are frame masters and men are frame children, right? And think of it like this. Um, in the book, The Manipulated Man, the woman pulls up to the side of the road, or sorry, a man pulls up to the side of the road to help a girl who has a flat tire, right? And he's late for work. He changes the tire and he thinks, wow, you know, women are so silly, so dumb. How could they not know this? Men, I'm so glad men are running the world, right? Because if women did, this would be, you know, they couldn't run the world, right? And men go to work late, having sacrificed for, you know, his time and energy and, you know, possibly getting chewed out at work for helping a woman, and the woman is like, "Got him," you know, like, "Hey, I just had to act like a victim, and a man came and saved me." So who's in whose frame, right? And that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not that you helping a woman or not helping a woman is bad or good, right? It's just that that's how women control the narrative, right? And that's essentially what frame is it's who you are. Everything outside of your frame is not important, unamusing, right? So if something happens, you think, okay, how does this affect my finances? How does this, you know, something political happens? How does this affect me, my finances, all that stuff? If someone insults me to my face, right? Are Who cares, right? Do they know you? No. Is what they're saying relevant to you? No. Even if it was relevant, is there any consequences to what they're saying? No. So yeah, and so on and so forth, right? It is, you are your own mental point of origin. Everything you feel is internal to you. You don't let the external world affect you much unless you absolutely let it have to. So, yeah. Hey, what's up, Bazooka Luke? That's a great question. My definition frame is not the best, right? I think Ryan Stones has a great video on it. I wish I could link it. I don't know where it's at. Somewhere on his YouTube. Um, and he has a book, I think, on it. So, yeah. Nuke, could you? Oh, thanks again for the £2 super chat. Marriage causes divorce. Thank you for the good question. Just made it in time. Yeah, and I see you. Good here using headphones. Awesome. No, could you talk about rational self-confidence will always get you more pussy than rational defeatism on a practical level? Thanks, buddy. Of course. Irrational self-confidence. So a lot of men need things in life to be in place for them to be confident. So a lot of guys need a good career. Like if you were working at a gas station, you're probably, a lot of men wouldn't be confident, right? Yeah, they'll they could hit on a girl, they can date, right? But it won't be the same. A lot of men need to have at least one attractive girl under their belt for them to feel confident. A lot of men need abundance. You know, a lot of men need money. Whatever you need. Some men believe that they need certain external factors in order to be confident, to like that confirmation that they're him or they're that person, they're that guy. But irrational self confidence, right? I'm not saying that you shouldn't strive for to have a better life and be better as a man, right? Of course you should. But think of it like this. Once you've made it, once you've made the money, the job, your life is starting on an upward trajectory. You've got a couple baddies under your belt, a lot of hot chicks, right? Um, and all that. Think of it like this. If you lost everything right now and you had to live under a bridge, right? Or live in your mother's basement or whatever. Pretend could you mac on a girl the same way you do now? Right? And if the answer is no, then you need to work on that confidence, right? At some point, yes, as a young guy, you're probably browbeaten and you're the gynocentric order, your mother, whatever, the beta programming is so beaten within you that it's even hard to even put yourself first or anything or be confident. But as you go through life and you learn and you realize, like, approval seeking behavior, not good. Being scared of rejection, not good. I mean, you're always going to be scared of rejection, but getting over it and moving past it, all that stuff, right? You got to realize certain things that women, a lot of guys notice this. Women tend to want during a woman's during your life, right? You're gonna realize there's a lot of times where you just fell off, like you lost your job, you lost your girl, both health issues, whatever. You get zeroed out to an extent, right? And you still get women. As a matter of fact, sometimes you get lots of women and you're just like, you can't explain it. Like there's this joke now on X, Twitter, where it's like the kind of girls you get when you're unemployed, right? And these super hot 8 out of 10 women and all that stuff. You got to think a lot of guys relate to that. A lot of guys relate to losing it all, being falling off, and then realizing, like, getting hot women, right? I When I was in college and I was depressed and I had to leave for the military and was having mental health issues and all that stuff. I had a girl drive 2.5 hours just to have sex with me, right? In her old rickety car. And then she would let me borrow her car to go do whatever I wanted with it during the day, right? It only lasted like a month or 3 weeks or something, but this woman who didn't have to do that did that. So what is it about you in that moment that women, especially attractive women, are like, holy shit, like, what is it about this guy? I want to hang out with him. I don't want to have sex with him. I want to do things for him. Now, there's other things, it could be like women like to build up a man, right? They have, their little Disney fantasy, the Beauty and the Beast fantasy of helping the injured alpha that needs to get back on his feet. That is their, um, but for the most part, it was just you didn't give a fuck anymore, right? A lot of the consequences of life, you're down. You're already like you're on the way down, right? You're like you've given up. You know, it's like that Spike Siegel scene where he's like, whatever happens, happens. You stop caring, right? Outcome independence, because you've already got the bad outcome. There's nothing to worry about, and that maybe there's something to that. Maybe the outcome independence that everyone talks about and yaps about. Maybe it's like, hey, I lost it all already. There is no outcome anymore. I don't care. I lost my job. I lost that life. I don't care. And you may think, how do you derive confidence from that? Well, the confidence is that you already know the ending. The ending is you took the L. And women, when a guy is just, going through it in his life, but still able to put on a smile, still able to put on some nice clothes or whatever, right? Women pick up on this lack of caring of consequences, and they're just drawn to that. And now you may say, but how? But it's your body language. It's the way you talk to them, right? Like you have this fuck off. I'm not, you have this fuck off. I don't care about you. You're not important to me. I'm losing everything right now. I lost my crypto money. I lost my job. I lost a dear family member. I lost, sadly, some men kind of start losing their will to live, right? But that attracts women for some reason. As long as you can shower and, put on a shirt and still put one foot in front of the other and move through life through this difficult time in your life. But women pick up on that because you just don't give a fuck anymore. What is there to give a fuck about? You lost. You took the L, right? So yeah, um, guys that have a lot to lose, the guys that big company, high, important jobs, lots of responsibilities and all that stuff. They have to analyze and think through everything, right? So that is why, like, hey, I don't have it just seems like, why is it that a broke guy, a broke drummer, a broke bartender, whatever, has that confidence? Now there's other factors, pre-selection, all that stuff. But think of it like this: you just gotta act like you are the type of guy that she should be fucking. You have to have that almost that entitlement, right? That kind of looking down on her, like you gotta realize, like, hey, it's not about looks, it's not about the money, right? It's about the confidence, right? Is in your body language. It's in the way you carry yourself, right? It's in your ability to recover from rejection. There have been times where I've taken rejection so well from women that they come back, right? And that's because they're just like, wow, this is crazy. Like, I just said no, or I just ghosted you, and we're in the same social circle, and you're fine, and you're just moving on talking to other girls, right? It's because yeah, you don't outcome independence. Like, oh, if you won't fuck me, someone else will, right? So all these things coalesce together for that rational self confidence, realizing this: no matter what happens, you're always gonna have a girl, and it takes guys years to realize that. There are men that will sleep with 50 chicks and still won't understand that. Every chick is an emergency case that they have to take care of. Every chick. But after a while, you have to sit down and you have to think, have I ever gone without pussy for like longer than a month? I don't remember the last time I've gone longer than a month. And during that month, was it like, did you die? Did you get sick because you didn't have female intimacy? No? Then you're going to be fine. That means no matter what happens, you're always going to have women, right? And that helps too. And also, why not be confident? Why not be irrationally confident, right? Why? It's a filter for women anyway, because women want to guilt us into compliance. They use guilt and morality against us. But when you tell a woman, like you don't care, whatever, it's not like, again, the frame thing, a woman saying that I ain't shit. Oh, okay. Congratulations. What does that have to do with me? What does your opinion have to do with me? You don't know me, right? And it's just that. It's just there is no reason for you not to think you're the shit. What a reason is to like some other guy is measuring you by a metric that you don't have to meet up with, right? And you realize that these kind of guys that have irrational self confidence, they get far in life, right? I wasn't the smartest nuke, but there were times where I just had irrational self confidence. I could talk my way out of a paper bag in the plant, and I got away with stuff, and people wanted me around because I was just confident. Right. And I was like, why not be like this? Why not just, even if you in your mind, right? It's just like Han Solo, never tell me the odds, just fucking do it. Because you're not gonna die. You're gonna be fine. So yeah. There's no reason not to think you're awesome. All right, guys. Some good questions here. Guys, if you super chat, that question will take priority, but I'll move through these as fast as I can. Could you rank the races in terms of attractiveness? This is with BMI as a control factor. Let's see. Races that I mean, that's based on personal preference, man. There's men that like white women, African women, Mexican women. I can tell you my personal ones if you think, but I just think attractiveness is just, to me, I can recognize attractiveness and all that stuff, but also a lot of what I find attractive in women, I think, this is my theory. It's like this the female celebrities we grew up with, right? I've always liked, and this is gonna sound funny, I've always liked horse face women, like Jessica Biel, Amy Jo Johnson. Well, she doesn't, but I just like the high cheekbones, long face kind of. I've always liked that in women. I think that's gorgeous. Like I had a crush on Jessica Biel in my teens. Um, and I just think women like that are just attractive. Right now, in terms of archetypes, like I think what it is for me is that I like women that are fully their archetype in their country, right? I don't like these half-ass shit. For example, if I date a Mexican girl, I want her to have all the Mexican features, right? I want the indigenous nose that kind of curves out like that. I want maybe the lighter brown skin, the long dark hair, almost like an indigenous look. I want the full package. Just like if I date an Asian girl, right? I want the slanted eyes. I want the little button nose. I want the the pearly white skin. It sounds kind of creepy, right? But I sign up for what I sign up for, because that's life. The what makes life worth living sometimes is diversity and variety. Sorry, the variety is the spice of life. So like if I date an Eastern European, tall, maybe thin, you know, maybe a little bit demanding, you know, but that's what it is. Like you want to date, you want what you signed up for. Like I don't want to date a Mexican woman that's Americanized completely and basically is no different from a Midwestern woman, right? I want to date a Mexican woman that loves, to dance the music of her people and eat, and curses at me in Spanish in her curse words. Just like if I date a Korean woman, I want her to be obsessed with K-pop, and I want her to make me Korean food. Like, you sign up for what you sign up for, right? So yeah, I just want But in terms of ranking, I can tell you what I've dated the most. I've dated Asian and Latinas, pretty much 50-50, with leaning towards Latinas, and then white girls, maybe 10-20% of my dating thing has been white women. Not really into black women unless they're like the bougie uptown girl type black woman. And Eastern European, like maybe three, two. They're not very common here in Texas. And then European, like German, couple of those, right? Yeah, but I would say that, I kind of just I can only prefer things that I've had, and usually it's what's around me. So I would say I've done outside of my current girl, like I've done most of my investment with Mexican women and Vietnamese women. Those are the ones that I tend to gravitate to. So and maybe a Filipina here and there. So yeah. Uh, what do you think of the theory that reduced levels of sexual activity in Zoomers is due to living at home, due to finances as opposed to lack of game? Maybe they go in hand in hand. Guys, I think the Zoomer thing is just the pull of the internet is incredible, man. Even me as an aging millennial, not having my phone around is weird. Like I have to check my Twitter, I have to check all these things because we're just addicted to phones. So don't ever underestimate the pull of the internet, right? All their friends are on there, all the exciting stuff is on there. These 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 streamers that like scream at people on the street and jump over cars is on there. I think that's that pull. What happens is the age between when a person becomes an adult and is able to have a family is growing, right? When our boomer parents at 18, they had the ability and the money and the resources to have families. Millennials, we have to wait until like what, early 30s, maybe late 20s if you're lucky to be able to have a family financially. And then Zoomers is probably going to be more because the housing market, everything, economy is just getting worse. So there's that. On top of that, um, they have a lot of Zoomers. They're addicted to the internet, but what's going to take them off the internet and start dating in real life or seeking real life relationships outside of a chat, right, is a canon event. A canon event that will require them to seek real relationships. Because one thing you have to realize about this internet stuff is that these people aren't really real in your life. There are people that live hundreds, if not thousands of miles away. They may live in your city, but they're still, not going to meet you. They're not interested in meeting you. And why would they, right? They have their own lives and their own thing. And what happens is they have a family death. They have a emergency financial troubles. They have trauma, they have mental health, whatever they have, and they realize that the internet is not going to cut it. That going on the internet and showing, "Hey, look, I just like the other day there's this guy yesterday or the day before, there's this guy that had he's documenting his whole pregnancy journey with his wife and they lost a baby and he's probably in a lot of pain, but he's using his pain for clout, which is not cool. That's dumb. Like the internet doesn't really care about your pain and your anguish. But in those instances, the pain will be so big that you will have to seek real life relationships. Now, if you're a single woman and you're struggling, right, you can't go to your simpy dudes online, sell them feet pics or and get support. You may need a man. You may start realizing, hey, like I have to move and these things are heavy. And the other day I was carrying groceries and it was heavy. And the other day, my mother is sick and I'm tired and I'm sad. And my girlfriend has a boy, or my female friend has a boyfriend, and he does a lot of the heavy lifting, both physically and emotionally in the relationship. And I need that. And it's just life humbles us all. And right now, the internet is just some kind of like, I'm awesome. Like nothing would ever happen to me because Zoomers are young. A lot of canon events haven't happened to them. But as you get older, as you go through shitty life situations, you realize like internet is no replacement for real human relationships, including romantic ones. So I think just give it time. It's a slow process, but by the time Zoomers are about to hit 27, 28, 29 now. Um, they're going to start feeling the burn of reality, and they're going to have to go off the internet to seek help, or to seek relationships because we're human. You can't beat our biology, you know. Are we going to get a chat aesthetics for a fall season? I mean, there's stuff that in there that apply to the fall. I mean, I could do a jacket guide or a fall season fashion guide if you guys would like. If I can get some kind of support on it, I will. Sure. Or if you want to guys want me to do a show, you guys let me know. Let me know in the chat. Would you guys or in the after the video, let me know in the comments. You guys are allowed to ask me for stuff. If I get enough people, I'll do it. I'm here to work, guys. I'm here to put in work. Cloud is awesome, but I like to work as well. So great point. Women want to suffer for love, help the injured alpha by goodness. Yeah. It's a fantasy for them. They want to they want to be the reason they got a guy off his feet. It is they want to fix you, right? And that's why girls have to constantly remind their girlfriends, you can't fix them. So, body count. I'm 27 years old, never had sex, kissed, or anything. Don't goon. I am financially stable, have good looks, tall, etc., but never can land a decent girl. Okay, well, when was the last time you went on a date? When was the last time you asked a girl on a date? What's your social life like? What do you do? Like, where do you go? How do you? What is your social life like? Let's start there. Fakes online. Outcome independence. I've noticed happens when I've been rejected. Prior to that, I don't care anymore. Rejection is kind of freeing. A paradox. Yeah. It's stressful. Like you ever been in a social circle or a social environment, wherever, and then a hot chick comes in and she's next to you, close to you, and you feel that stress, right? That stress goes away when you have talk to her. And think of it like that. It's not to say you got to talk to every chick that's around you, right? But if there's a girl that's hovering or is knows somebody that you know and you just want to say hi or whatever, just introduce yourself. Even if she says no, even if she says boyfriend, brings up a boyfriend, whatever, that stress is gone and you can be yourself. Now you can move on to something else because your brain goes into problem solving mode when there's beautiful women around. So you're just like, oh, what do I do? What do I say? I got to move here. I got to just get it over with. Get the rejection over with. You may be surprised. Sometimes she says yes. So, yeah. Hey, what's up? Yo, ho, ho, ho. Look, we got a pirate in the chat. Yes, only the purest of Mexican blood. You want what you get paid for. It's like buying a pizza and getting a burger. No thanks. Yeah, exactly. Like, and same thing for women for us, right? If I'm Dominican, they expect me to dance. They expect me probably to act a certain way. So it's like have a look, but your personality and your culture. Now, they don't have to be 100% that culture and 100% like that, right? But at least, I want to experience you and I want the whole package that comes with your background, your culture, right? I don't know, a lot of guys don't care about that. I do, and that's just me. That's a me thing. Um, and you'd be surprised how a lot of the stereotypes are true about women and cultures and stuff like that. And it kind of makes it kind of makes them more human for them to like present. Like I had a woman cook me ramen and be very I dated a Vietnamese woman and she was like, "Hey, let's go out for fun." And she would be like, "We're not going to the places you like. We're gonna go to my places." And she would take you to the best restaurants, right? And she would teach you about all the menu items. This is that, this is good, and all that stuff. So when it comes down to it, you have to realize like dating is supposed to be fun. You're supposed to enjoy women, and part of that enjoyment isn't only sex, right? It's just a lot of the best dates I had were women telling me crazy backstories. Like that one girl said, "Hey, my dad was, smuggled himself into the United States, um, you know, on like shipping vessels, and now we're here as family and all that stuff." I'm like, "Holy crap!" Right? So, Dondra Lee Artistry. Why did I think you lived in Canada? I don't know, because I'm brown. Probably. Women are always tired since they're lazy. Well, everyone's lazy, man. I think everyone is just they want more for less. And I understand, everything else is there's some things that are just you have to work harder for now than you used to. But realize that if you haven't talked to women or you haven't gone on dates, and for ladies, if you're not going on dates and you're expecting men to just knock on your door or just notice you one day and approach you, you have to do more. I know it's not sexy, right? But you have to have some level of control over your life, and the more control you have of your life, the more comfortable you'll be, the happier you'll be. Stop letting things up to chance. LFH, yeah. um Workplace romances seem to have died. I haven't come across a workplace scandal in several years. I feel like we're becoming more sexist as a society, men losing their virility, women sexually frustrated. So for guys that haven't traveled outside of the West. You know, they haven't like lived or been in, you know, maybe Latin America or Southeast Asia or any kind of like sex positive place. Um, you guys think this is normal, right? The United States being kind of like the way it is in terms of the way they view sex and relationships. But the truth is, like, United States is very sex negative place. It's a country based on rugged individualism, but with Puritan values. So you could see that, like, those two values. It's not like they're conflicting, but they kind of make end up being like, hey, um, most women are very hung up about sex, very hung up, even sluts, right? But at the same time, we have kind of like pushed, or we have, what's the quote? I have it saved here. I saw it on 4chan the other day. I was on a board in 4chan. Let me see if I can bring it up. I think it's on my screenshots. I just screen capped something because I thought it was really, you know, prolific and all that stuff. And let me see. Where is it? There we go. I'll read it to you guys here. Okay, so basically, uh, so America's in a sex recession. Wives aren't having sex with their husbands. Zoomers aren't having sex. Um, and millennials are sexually frustrated and all that stuff. Whatever. Everyone seems to like not be getting what they want out of sex or what they want out of relationships. Everyone's complaining, bitching. It's the reason this red pill crap is going mainstream. Whatever. Um, and you know, maybe there's a sex recession going on. Maybe there is. So because there's sex reception, the aesthetics of sex are becoming more prolific to compensate. Right? There's never been more sexual imagery online, no matter what app you go to, but no one's having sex. We kind of like designated a certain group of women and men to do that, to be the sexual people, and everyone else just kind of gawks and pays or lives in all of this, right? That's why we have SlutCon going on, which is a weird phenomenon because what exactly is SlutCon? What do they do there? What's the goal? What is it? Right? It isn't like an anime con. I was like, hey, you buy merch, you meet voice actors, and it's pretty straightforward. But SlutCon, what do you do? Do you like touch women, like you poke them and be like, see, sex isn't so bad? Are people there to pump up their own brands? Um, is it like sex parties? What is SlutCon? We don't fucking know. But we have to have these things because we're in a sex recession, right? Sex is seen as something bad. We're struggling with morality and sex and what's the right thing, wrong thing to do. So people have to become more sexual to compensate. And that's why you'll find in your dating life that you'll find women with their titties out or acting slutty. And then when you get them behind closed doors, they're this little unexperienced, you know, sexually stunted girl. And a lot of men are starting to report that when I talk to them. It's like, yeah, like this slutty girl, I thought she was a hoe. She talked about even sent me nudes, but when we got to the deed, you know, she was like shy and closed off and you know, told me to slow down. Still wanted to see me, but it just seemed like, you know, she was not a sexually comfortable woman. So, yeah. Um, hey, good morning, my friend. Hey, Donald. I don't know how to say your last name. Enyekung? Enyekung? Hey, I'm the guy who dated the lady that hated PDA. After that, she said we should just be friends. I said it's only if it's casual or mutually beneficial. She just shrugged. What does that mean? Um, In these situations, look at it like this. When a girl says let's just be friends, you have no more bargaining chips. There's nothing left to bargain. So when you're bargaining after, it's like guys like only if we fight. It's like there's nothing, right? I consider it a fuck you, get away from me, or a hey, I don't see you as sexual at all. It's not a it's not a there's no more negotiating, right? It's done. You're out of the game. Now you're free from this situation. Guys do it differently. Some guys leave by attrition, you know, like maybe you stop hanging out, you hang out once a week, now you hang out twice a month or whatever, and then move on. Other guys are uh just cut it off there and say, I never want to see this person, but they don't tell it, right? At that point, you have no bargaining chips. Anything you say after that is going to be held against you in her group chat or whatever. And it makes you look silly. So at that point, just refrain. There's no negotiation. Um, and it just makes you look even more hungry, and then you'll probably lose a chance with your friends, or the word on the street is going to be you're going to be that guy that pretended to be her friend, even though you didn't, right? But pretended to be her friend for sex, and then women blow things up out of proportion. So yeah, just be careful when exiting a relationship with a woman is very you got to be careful and just default to indifference, even though it may kill you inside. Maybe she was hot, she was giving you some kind of sexual attention, but just default to indifference, and she's already dead in your head. So body cam. All right. My social circle is not really a thing. I've only done dating apps, but mostly cold approach, but them never text back or they ghost. What would you recommend for a social circle? Okay, so social circle, you probably have hobbies, right? You probably have neighbors, hobbies. There's probably some kind of watering hole, right? For me, it was like my pool, maybe a bar down the street where people would watch sports games, a coffee shop, whatever. A place where people are open to talking and chatting with each other and not closed off to the corner. Um, so dating apps are not going to be very useful to you if you're not having any success at all. They're just going to frustrate you more. And it makes you entitled, right? Because I matched you. You should give me attention. That's not a good mentality to have. So I would say think of a hobby that's sexy or semi-sexy and go do that. There is no easy way out of just getting laid. You have to immerse yourself in life. You can't just sit at home. And Zoomers have this problem. I'm not saying you're a Zoomer, that they just want a mail order relationship. They want a turnkey mail order relationship. Hey, we're in a chat room. We're this. That's why everyone says Twitter is a dating app. It's fucking not. It is not a replacement for courtship, right? But um, find something you like, and you'd be surprised. So there's some hobbies that are blue oceans, meaning that the competition is low. And all you got to do is be jacked, smell good, and have some level of interest in getting to know people outside of just sex, and you realize that you'll do fine. So think of things that you like to do and find other people that like to do them, and it doesn't have to be one thing, right? Like if you like to ballroom dance, show up, like you need to get out of your head, right? Dating is not step one. It's social life, and then everything downstream of that you get friends, connection, and then women, right? You cannot live life thinking, hey, what do I have to do to get women? Right? You have to become so awesome that women are be like, what do I have to do to what women are the ones asking, what do I have to do to get with a guy like that? And you don't do that by sitting at home wondering, what do I got to do next for women? Live your life, do awesome things. And just like Gandalf said, the world isn't in your books, it's out there. Right? I think Gandalf said that in the first movie. Guys, correct me. Lord of the Rings bros, correct me. And that's the thing here. Like I hate to use the touch grass bullshit, but find something that you enjoy doing. And I know it's an abstract answer, but it really is that. Um, try things out, talk to everyone, be become the type of person that talks to everyone, or at least a lot of people. Start conversations, get out of your head, because a lot of the things that men struggle with in terms of like social lives is that they're in their head, they're in their world. Oh, I'm better. They think they're better than the average normie, all that stuff. But here, consider this: your girlfriend, your future wife, your plates, all of that. Sex will come from normie women, right? This world online is not real. When I turn this camera off, I go back to my life. I don't talk about Red Pill with my friends. I talk about how was their day? What are they up to? Hey, you want to watch this movie? You want to hang? Are you guys coming out to salsa tonight? Are you this? Hey, want to go grab a bite? Let's have coffee, right? And yeah, you talk about your friends about women, right? But I don't like lecture them like I'm doing here. Just get out of your head, live life. Turn the I need a girl off stuff and be like, hey, maybe I need a little bit of immersion into a social life where I could forget about the frustration of not getting the things I want and just live life. And you understand. And here's a funny thing: having a social life or hanging out with good people that you enjoy gives you a level of clarity that no amount of internet analysis will give you. So, yeah. I'm just in a weird place where well, there you go, bro. You're not above having a social life, and that's the thing. You're not above it. A lot of guys think they're above it, but you're not above having friends. You're not, and I know that you may not feel that way, but go out and have a good time with your friends, doing whatever. Go to a theme park. Go to Six Flags. Go have some sushi with your friends. Joke around. If you don't have friends, reconnect. You met someone cool that one day. Hey, dude. Hey, I met you doing this, and I saw you doing that. Let's link up. Let's go for lunch, bro. I saw you were in the area, whatever, right? So yeah, how do I navigate with modern women? I have learned over and over. A lot of them don't bring anything to the table. How do I realistically find a good wife? That you don't find the good wife. That okay, and that so first off, women are not modern or old, right? Women are just reacting to their environment. They're not out to get you, right? It's just that men constantly opt into their own destruction. If you leave, they don't understand women and all that stuff, so they opt into their own destruction. So stop thinking that women have changed. It's just the pressures, the outside pressures have changed. I have learned over and over, a lot of them don't bring anything to the table. Well, don't look at it as an exchange or whatever, right? The relationship is her problem. It is not your job to worry about what she brings to the table, what she doesn't. Your job is to be awesome and have options, which is part of being awesome is that you're awesome enough to have options, right? It's not your job to worry, I gotta find a wife. That's a demonstration of lower value. You don't, your commitment isn't something women want to be given easily. They want to work for it, right? So when you're already in the mindset of how do I find a good wife, it's just like there is no good wives. First off, a woman will become good for you if she's into you. And number two, you are more worried about getting what you want, living life on your terms. And a girl that wants to be with you will become the good wife for you, right? You don't find a good wife. Vetting doesn't work, right? Women change. She can become a POS in the middle of your marriage or whatever. She could leave you. It doesn't matter. Your job is to have options. That's it. Now, during the relationship, you may you figure each other out and all that stuff, but you are focused on your mission and your goals and all that stuff. So yeah. And let me get these super chats from Alex Patino. Um you get one of these, sir?
Thank you so much, best friend!
Yeah, Alex Patino with the $5. I advise not to completely trust Twitter accounts. I just found out that bots can also have verified accounts, not verified. Holy shit, yeah. Even bots can have verified accounts. Wow, I did not know that. It's crazy. Well, now did you guys hear that? And now that the what do you call it? The country of origin of the post is now going to be posted. Now that's crazy. Now maybe there's a way around it. Maybe these guys are already figuring a way around it, like maybe a VPN or something. But that's gonna if they don't find a way around, that's gonna change the internet forever. Like they're gonna have to figure out how to dupe us in other ways. So that's crazy. Another $5 from Alex Patino.
Thank you so much, best friend!
Ask me on the $5. Plus, over the last few weeks, I had a bunch of bots asking me to buy their spicy OF content. Me thinks it's a fat dude using AI. Probably. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just that I think we're reaching a point where like we're tired of getting robbed. We're tired of getting scammed. These people, like I got called a couple months ago, like people demanding my demanding because your bank got hacked, bank information got hacked, blah blah. I'm like, what the hell? But we're tired, right? We're tired of this shit. So, it will improve the app, but at the same time, certain countries are going to lose a lot of money and crash out. So I'm glad for it. If this works out the way I think it will, hopefully, I'm praying. I'm praying. So yeah, yeah, exactly. They should fit into your life, dude. Um, hold on. Well, I skipped a lot of chats. Sorry, guys. You guys are full of questions today. I'm just in a weird place where I don't have any enjoyment for anything anymore. I just numb. But when I'm doing work, I feel something that purpose, I suppose. Yeah. Well, um, again, yeah, you've allocated too much of your happiness and an outcome that you can't control, right? Women are not something you can control much. You can incentivize them. Focus on what makes you happy. I'm telling you, it's crazy. It's cliche as hell. Focus on what makes you happy. I know it sounds stupid, dude, but understand that women will never make you happy. Do you understand that? Women do not complete you. They enjoy your completeness. So build a life. And now I'll build a life. Again, that's one of those abstractions that a lot of, alpha super male gurus use, alpha male gurus use. But build your life means like, what type of friends do you want? Well, I want guys that are cool that do this. Okay, well, go be in those. Think of it like this: stop being these entitled millennials that think that they deserve friends and the loneliness epidemic, just this testicular cancer meeting entitlement. Why don't I get everything? Why isn't everything awesome? Why is everything everyone else's fault? And go out there with your own two hands and build it. Because I'm telling you right now, I built my social life, I built my career, I built this channel, I built my Twitter, I built everything. And yes, I've had plenty of help and plenty of input from other people. But mostly I did it with my own two hands, and no one can take that away from me. No one has given me I didn't complain my way to success, right? Not that I'm super successful, but I did it things my way. Like the song Frank Sinatra, My Way. I did it like that, right? So think of it like that. You have to go out there and get what you want. And you have to ask yourself, what do you want? It seems that you enjoy doing the work you do. That's one part of it. Now I ask you, what kind of friends do I want? Do I want to live where I live? Is living where I live the best idea for right now? That could change. And everything starts with what do you want? And you'll be surprised that you've never asked yourself that question. You just did what other people expected of you, and you never thought, you know, maybe I want to spin plates, or maybe I want this, or maybe I want that, or maybe I just want to go on a road trip and see America, or maybe I want to do this. You'd be surprised how many things um, you're leaving on the table because you never asked yourself, what do you want? So ask yourself that, and realize that women will never make you happy, right? They'll make you ejaculate. They'll make you stressed. They are good company sometimes. Sometimes they're terrible company. They can ruin your life. They can enhance it, but they are never going to be the sole reason of your happiness, no matter how much you try. No matter how many try to come say, my wife is my everything, nothing. It's all here, dude. It's all here. Your contentment, your fulfillment comes from the things you achieve. A wife is just there to support you or bring you down. Those are her choices. So, yeah. In all my relationships in the past, I've always lost interest after 3 or 5 months in the relationship. How do I find someone to actually feel excited about? You don't find anyone, right? Now, you need to find out why you lose interest. That's interesting. Hey, you'd be surprised. A lot of times it's because the woman is not attractive enough. And that's something that a lot of men don't come to grips with because we're like, a hole is a hole, right? But eventually you start realizing, like, hey, I want something. And that's okay. Men are not inherently hypergamous, but sometimes we just want a girl that's hotter. That's okay. You want that to be the bargaining chip. Now, is a girl being hotter gonna change a lot of things? No, but you just may need that. It could be something. Or, hey, there's just you lose interest because you realize, what is this person offering? And I think what's happening here is that you've placed too much importance or too much stake on your happiness in women. You think that there's some women out there that's supposed to make it all make sense and finally be the missing piece. Again, women do not want to complete you. They want to enjoy your completeness. So when you learn to be your own mental point of origin and realize that, hey, whether you have the love of your life or you're a single man, your stay plan is the same as the go plan. You still got to get up, chase your dreams. You're still happy. You still got friends. A wife is just an eventuality. It is not a goal. It is just something that, hey, one day, it's that part of your life. It isn't something you should strive for, but it isn't something that is not going to happen if you don't absolutely worry about it 24/7, right? One day, a girl is going to be like, you had just fucked her, she's in bed, and she's going to be like, hey, so do you like where this is going? Or, hey, are you seeing other women? And then you're like, I mean, you want to try this out? You want to be exclusive for a while? I don't mind, and that's see how casual you ask that or accept monogamy. It's not supposed to be some grandiose poetic thing. It's supposed to be like, Sure, you want to try this out? Yeah. As long as you do your job, whatever. And that's how it's supposed to start, right? Isn't and you realize that like you're 27, right? You're on the cusp of Zoomer, millennial, a little bit more towards Zoomer. I tell you right now, as you get older, everything outside of women gets more awesome. Even video games, even your work, everything. You get more respected at work. You have the money to get what you want. Everyone is complaining about things. You're just like, hey, I'm gonna turn on this video game I played 10 years ago that I enjoyed. Life just gets better, not because everything around you gets better. It's because you realize what's important. You stop worrying about stupid shit that you did before. Oh, this girl is not my type, or not this, and that. And I'm like, dude, she just fucked the shit out of you. She made you breakfast, and she's a good person. What are you worried about? But I'm like, but what if I do this? And I'm like, there's nothing. As you get older, that shit goes away, the anxiety, because you realize I'm always gonna have women. There's always gonna be women around. You'll never run out of them, and you're not gonna get fired because even if you did, you have enough experience where you're valued at other companies and all that stuff. The world's not gonna end. A lot of things. COVID happened. The world didn't end. SARS happened. An earthquake in your country happened. Whatever. You're still alive. The only thing you start really worrying about that's is your parents' health, right? Because you love your parents. You start thinking, okay, maybe I should start seeing my parents more and paying attention to them because they're getting old, right? But that's normal. That's just another aspect of your life, right? So yeah, I love it, my friend. I played it as a kid, played the hell out of it as a kid, and now I love it as an adult. I think I'm gonna play some today. Trying to balance, I got a lot of things going on, but I will play some today. If you guys want to watch my stream, you guys are welcome to come in and ask and do a Q&A, red pill stuff, whatever. Just chat about whatever. I like you guys, right? And that's going to be a problem in the future because I like my audience. But yeah, Slutcon. Oh, dude, the tweets about Slut. I don't know. I haven't muted Slutcon yet because I'm just fascinated at the type of people that participate. I'm not trying to hate too much, right? Um, but it just seems that women that make smut or women that make adult films, they make me thankful for having the audience I do, right? Because I've met some of my audience and we're now best friends. My audience is really high performing people. I've met them in real life. A lot of you just need that little piece of figuring out this woman stuff that, I'm not better than you. You probably guys probably make more money than me or smarter or whatever. It's just that I have a little bit of notes to trade. But looking at these women, right? I think SlutCon is more about proving to the world that they don't like women that do adult films, OnlyFans, all that stuff, don't have the worst fans on earth, and they actually do, right? And I think that's the point of SlutCon. Like, hey, being a fan of sex workers, is not a bad thing. That's all SlutCon is, and I'm like, yeah, but that's measured by the amount of security that these women have, right? And for me personally, think of it like this: no matter how comfortable with sex America is, if you're one of your boys, if you found out one of your boys is going to SlutCon or something or an AVN or whatever, awards or something, I don't know, whatever they call them, you would probably be like, bro, what the hell? Like, that's crazy, right? And that's what they're trying to. That's the problem with, and that's a lid to pornography. Everyone's worried about pornography, but pornography has a ceiling. It has a ceiling where it's cut off. Um, During the pandemic, they tried. I think Pornhub tried to buy a stadium in Florida, and I think legally they were allowed to buy a stadium. I think the stadium was being sold or something. It wasn't a huge stadium. I forgot what it was, but they did not. The government denied them, right? Because that's the ceiling. Pornhub trying to make their site like social media, like you have a profile and all that stuff, and that didn't work. Why? Because there is always going to be an inherent shame with consuming and being a fan of these women. It's incompetent. Men know deep down, even if they're like, it's no big deal. It's just, like even me, I say, hey, porn's not a big deal, but I don't say that because it's okay to be a fan of it. I say that because I'm just trying to show you guys that the average person says that, especially women, because they're trying to shame your sexuality. They don't care about you. They're just trying to shame your sexuality as a man. They want like that Christian couple where the guy's like, trying to negotiate for sex and desire. That's what they think healthy sexuality is, and that's not. That's terrible. But um, in terms of fans and all that stuff, that's the ceiling. Porn will always be in the dark, in the shadows. I know there's content where there's guys that like ironically or unironically, I don't know, make content about like discussing adult film actresses as like NBA players, like all that stuff. But it has to be through the guise of comedy. It has to be comedic, right? It will never be taken seriously. um, Pornography is comic relief to society. They're never going to be taken that seriously. I know, a lot of women are like, well, eventually a lot of us become lawyers and doctors and all that stuff. Yeah, but um, mainstream, it's just we'll probably be dead by the time a girl who's done OnlyFans or adult films it becomes a world leader, or high up and all that, or a president of a company, or you know, whatever. Are there professions where women who do spicy videos do well? Like, yeah, real estate, right? But that's a very under the table kind of freelance career path, and it allows for it because sexuality leads to sales. But yeah, guys, they have the worst fans in the world, and that's what SlutCon was for, to prove to the world our fans are normal dudes. They're just struggling with sex. I'm like, dude, there's nothing healthy about worshiping women. There never was. So, alrighty. Okay, let's continue on. Remember, guys, super chats take priority if you guys want to get your question in and answer right away. I just realized that it's come to you are supposed to know that there is sex, but you are not allowed to want it as a man unless a woman approves and with you who have sex with. Yeah, everyone wants to control your sexuality as a man. It's just sexual shaming, right? And women do the most of it, and that's the crazy part. Like, if I want to enjoy what I want to enjoy, or if I want to enjoy attractive women, or if I want to, see boobs on the internet, right? Not the best use of your time, but really, guys, like, it's not that big a deal. That's all we're saying. It's not that big a deal. There's better things to do. It's not a spiritual death, right? The most spiritual death you're having in your life is seeking approval from others constantly, especially women. That you are dead inside if you do that. There's nothing. But if you one day are struggling, or you're deployed, or you just you need to get your rocks off or whatever, and you look at this stuff, it's not going to be the end of the world, right? It will affect your dating life, and maybe it'll make you sleepy and waste of time, but it's not going to kill you. And that's the thing. It's not about them caring about you and your future. It's about um, shaming your sexuality as a man. Yeah. Okay, now I'll ask, any keynote tips for hiking on a date? Just use look for excuses to touch her. I mean, I'm assuming that if you're doing a hiking date, you're already hitting, so nothing much to worry about, but help her up through a rock, I guess, or when she's I don't know if you guys are doing spelunk or not spelunking, but like hanging off the side of a cliff or something with this, there's plenty of, it's a physical activity, so there's gonna be plenty of um kino escalation. I just say, start with your hands and shoulders, and then move to waist, and then thigh, and then face. Face is the final, keynote in public, and then in private, it's your ass and titties and all that stuff, right? Um, we got uh, yeah, abundance mentality. Abundance mentality. People think it's only women. Abundance mentality is everything, dude. And that's what I'm saying. As you get older, you naturally get a little bit of abundance because you realize I'm not gonna die. COVID doesn't kill me. Um, Riots, BLM riots didn't kill me. Uh, what else didn't kill me? Maybe that medical issue that I had didn't kill me. I'm gonna be okay. Hey, I have been complaining about women for 5 years, but I've always had some girl, you know, in my orbit, right? I've always had some girl that if I got my head out of my ass, I could have slept with her or something. And even when I was down bad, there was still a girl that, wanted to go on a date or wanted to see me, right? And then you kind of like, okay, so girl department, I'm never gonna not be taken care of. I just gotta maybe do a little bit more. Uh, Health and being alive department, I'm still alive and I'm still in health. Job, I may have, been scared to get fired for a little bit, or maybe I got fired, but I still have food and a roof over my head. I think I'm gonna be okay. And that abundance makes you think, okay, there's like 30 things that I don't have to worry about anymore because I'm not neurotic. I understand that everything will work itself out. Now I can focus upon making things happen. So, hey, no problem, man. That's what I'm here for. Yeah, every Redpill guy has done this video to death. I don't think I have much to add to that video, but essentially, guys, like you just can't genuine and negotiate genuine desire, right? Like it's not something that you do things in women because if that were the case, most guys would be getting laid easily because you can negotiate it. Um, it's a dark art. It's something that most people don't want to talk about. Most people don't want to even because it requires a lot of understanding of the dark parts of female nature and male nature. And people don't want to go there, so they default to the language of emotionalism and doing the right thing and all that stuff. So yeah, yeah. Bazooka Luke, I've stopped chasing the girls, as Clary would say. Now I just do things encouraging women come into my life, but usually end up ghosting after a few weeks. Do they ghost or you ghost? Yeah, she's not yours, just your turn, right? Realize that now that you're doing what you want to do on your terms, right? You realize that women hinging the your happiness on whether a woman stays or not is a recipe for being constantly constantly uneasy with yourself and just bitter and like you got to let that shit go. And it's okay for it to like piss you off, right? You're going to have a girl that gives you amazing sex or a girl that's just hot as hell. And she's just going to leave one day. You got you and that's one of the hardest things guys that's why guys hate that phrase it's not yours, it's just your turn. It's just because it's like women are not us. You still see women like us. They're not us, you know? I still remember something nice a guy did for me 10 years ago. One small little thing. Women will forget within 3 or 4 days that you did something nice, even if you're their husband. So just we're different, accept it. It takes time. You don't have to accept it today or tomorrow, but eventually you have to accept it if you want to enjoy women. And you realize like eventually you'll accept it so much that when a woman stays, you just find it nothing but slightly annoying. And society will say you're broken. You're broken because you're no longer a pedestalized woman and wait by the door for them to come back. There's something wrong with you. You're toxic. You're a loser. You're this. You're one of those red pill guys. And I'm like, well, if that's what it takes to be content and be able to enjoy women on my terms, so fucking be it. So, yeah, you are the main attraction. Some girls pay the cost. Some girls don't. But you are not the one seeking. Now you have to put yourself in positions. You have to there's a price of doing business, but you are not the one actively searching, right? You are living life. You are having a good time. You are building life that she wants to be a part of, you know? Women hate sales, but they love marketing. So, yep, and um they get to dock whenever they want and leave whenever they want, right? You are an unshakable island, you know, full of volcanoes and forests and creatures that she's never seen. She'll tour you. She may want to stay and set up shop, or she may want to leave and be like, fuck this island. Either way, that's all you can be. You can't move around. Do you have any advice on parents who have expectations for marriage of you but don't really understand how crappy the environment is? Forgive them. They're never gonna understand. My parents don't understand. Like I've told them stories, but like, do I really want to tell stories to my father and my mother about this one girl that screwed me over? No. Your parents don't have forever on this planet, right? Um, if they ask, be polite. If they're angry, if they're frustrated, just tell them, "Hey, mom, I'm just having a little bit of trouble. Um, I went on a date, this, whatever, right?" But just it's just something that they'll never see eye to eye with you on. They cannot fathom a world where their handsome little boy isn't absolutely doesn't have a line of women trying to marry him. And also, even if you do have a line of women trying to marry you, it's not easy to like accept marriage at a young age when you can't provide for a family, you know, or feel like you can, or feel like a woman is good enough to be a mom and not lazy. So, yeah, just let it go. Just hey, they're gonna chastise you forever, and there you have a kid. You know, just their relationship with you is going to change, as I've seen. But just move on. Yeah, my way or the highway. How much longer are you going to be on? I don't know. I'm getting kind of hungry. Maybe another 30 minutes. We'll see. I don't have much to do. I'm just going to work on content this morning, but yeah, maybe 30 minutes to an hour. I appreciate how direct you are with this. Sometimes we do not understand the nuances, but I'm amazed at how far you've brought me in this intersectional sphere. In your words, what is frame? I think I discussed it earlier. If you go back to the beginning of the video, I had a discussion. I don't want to go through it again, but yeah, that's basically. Also, guys, my definition is not that great compared to other content creators. But that if you guys go to the beginning of the video, I say it there. Someone asked me, I think marriage causes divorce. He super chatted me and I asked. So yeah. And again, if you guys want your question read earlier than the others, super chat me and I'll give it priority. Um, yeah, let's see. I may get to the bottom of this question. Um, right. My mom is my everything, to be honest. I'm making sure she'll be able to retire next year, but not sacrificing my happiness either. She won't live with me, but I will have a home for you. Yeah. I mean, if you want to do stuff for your mom, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Just make sure you're not at your own detriment, your own happiness, right? Remember, you got to put yourself first, even above your parents. Um, I am in good shape, but I work from home. Am older than 30. Am not a social person and fap too much. There's basically now no way for me to meet women other than apps, which gives me zero matches. I might no. Again, what did Gandalf say? The world isn't in your books and maps. I think he says maps. The world is out there. You need you're trying to do the thing where you want a mail order social life, a mail order pussy, right? That's not the best way. Will you get lucky from time to time and get a match? Sure, but you need to It's immersion, same as learning a language. Consider social life and social skills like learning a language, and you need to immerse yourself, and that means going to events, going to parties, going to whatever you like. Even if it's nerdy, go. Just go. Even if you're alone. Even if you like a restaurant in town, go. If you like a new bar open, go. Get outside. Go. You're not above your social life. A lot of millennials and Zoomers have this shit where it's just like normies this and they don't understand. Well, I'm like, no, they do understand. They're living on the same planet you are. Your beliefs are a little bit different, but you're not better than them. And once you start acting like that, um, you're gonna realize that people ain't so bad, and you need them, and they're the reason we're here on this planet is other people. You're not an island. Humans were meant to socialize and have matrices of social circles. So go do that. Yeah, it's. I don't know. This is like more of like a dagger. What do you guys think? Is this a dagger or is this a sword? I don't know. All right. Let's see. It's crazy how 10% of women aged 18 and 35 do OnlyFans or a sex worker. I expect um it's alright to when the recession gets even worse in the next couple of years. Who cares? I don't care. Guys, I've dated two girls that did OnlyFans. It was the corniest thing. I'm like, wow. Eventually, guys, you're gonna get so sexually experienced, and so like none of that phases you. It's not like you're gonna be like a degenerate, like like you need a woman to do crazy shit and tie you up and do BDSM, like in Wolf of Wall Street, right? But at the same time, you're going to need you're going to stop caring about this. Like these girls, they're just little girls that they think they know what they're doing, and you'll have sex with one maybe one day, and you're gonna realize, wow, that was mid as hell. The whole thing. Like I thought I was getting some super pornographic, s- experience, but it's just a normal girl that with mid to below mid sexual energy. And you're just like, wow, that's it. What a hoe! Like the hoes are out there. Again, the hoes are not in your maps or books. They're out there. They're not online. They're pretending. They're trying to get attention. If tomorrow what got women attention was putting traffic cones on their head, they would do that. But for right now, it's the little floppy titties and their mid-tier little physiques. Or if they're crazy enough, they're fake BBLs and stapled stomachs. Women are like when you finally get abundance and you have a frame, you're gonna look at this as like a little corny. Like, wow, you shove objects in your side of yourself for $7 a month. Cool. I hope that works out for you. Like, hey, get your bag, girl, I guess. Like you don't see it as some kind of threat to your existence, threat to the threat of the country, right? As long as there's guys like us, the country will be okay. I promise. Mhm. Sir, oh man, I don't even know how to say this. Cirx Lugner. What's the Evo Psych explanation for women leaving dark R word fantasies when it should be selected against for endanger? I'm gonna remove this. I don't want in trouble. What's the Evo Psych explanation for women loving dark R word fantasies when it should be selected against for endangering her life? Well, it's like physical dominance. It plays into their alpha or war bride. You know the war bride dynamic that Rolo talks about. Like whenever a warring clan takes over another warring tribe, the women fall in love with the stronger people. It's kind of into that. It makes sense because it's just a stronger tribe and all that stuff. Now, does this have to do? Is there a lot of nuance and caveats? Yes, and that's something I just don't want to talk about right now. But interesting thing, we could talk about it on Twitter, but not on YouTube. Let's see. You can't therapy speak your way into a girl's pants or heart. You can, and I have. That is my version of game. I use therapy but not in the but I understand where you're coming from and what you mean. But in terms of like the language and all that stuff, you absolutely can. As a matter of fact, it's what my text game is based on. But in the context you're saying, which I understand, no, you cannot. But in terms of text game and on a date, yeah, you absolutely can. But it's different, if that makes sense. I usually took chicks to the drive-in back in the day, and within minutes, I was getting action. They would just want to go have fun on a nice summer evening, great time, just act like the movie. Yeah, have fun, man. Good. Sometimes women ghosting you is doing you a favor. It means there's another open slot for another chick. So Japanese chicks or sex spots are the only um I'm sure I mean Japanese women, at least the ones that that are goon material on the timeline, they look hot, right? But or sex spots, but guys, again, don't count on these things to kind of like change the thing. You are on your own. You have to build a sex life and a dating life with your own two hands. Whenever you think, oh, sex change, wait until these bitches get their sex robots. That's not, again, that's like waiting for someone to save you, some CEO, crazy CEO to make a robot that may or may not convince you she's real or, you are able to have sex with like an inanimate object, or not have a soul or something like that. So just don't wait for that. And realize too, there's probably some kind of like Faustian deal when you buy a sex robot or delve into that, right? When something is too good to be true, be very wary. It's mostly my dad anymore. My mom heard some of the stories my brother and I have told her, and they break her heart. It's mostly my dad. Yeah, just don't. It's not worth it. Don't break your mom's heart because you want her to be because you wanted to explain. Like, just say, "Hey, mom, just having a little bit of trouble." That's all. Married males are like infected zombies. Yeah, they want you back on the plantation. And when I say married males, I think you're referencing the average guy, which thinks that happy wife, happy life, and cheaper to keep her, all that crap. A guy that's happily married understands why it's awesome to be single, but he also understands why it's awesome to be him and married. You know, so I go to anime cons and HPBs here in Ohio and get plenty of attention. Be the ball, Caddyshack taught well, and the meatballs. It just doesn't matter. Yeah, I go to anime cons and anime raves, and it's ridiculous, right? Like women want to take pictures with me. Women kind of, there was one year, October 2023, I dressed as Luffy from One Piece, and I had a girl follow me around. She just wanted a picture, and I, could have taken her home that night if I wanted. But yeah, there's blue oceans all over the place. But honestly, just have fun. You'll realize that the guy having the most fun is the guy who wins. There's times I go and I'm just sitting in the corner relaxing. I've had a tough week and I'm like listening to the music. I know one of the DJs there now and I'm like, hey, what's up? And, talk for a little bit. I'm just like, hey, it's It's a long drive. It's a 30-minute drive from my house. I feel like I'm not in the city. I'm wearing these goofy anime clothes, goofy anime cosplay. And I'm off in the corner. I'm just listening. And I'm like, this is nice. And then, these guys come in begging for female attention, trying to do the most and all that stuff. And I'm just like, guys, relax, because in 10 years, you guys are going to be the hot guys here, right? Just give it time. Just, I'm 36, so I shouldn't even be here. It's like, but at the same time, it's just like there's a reason in this, I've gone through life, I've leveled up, you know, so of course I'm gonna get female attention, but it will be you one day, and you guys, and I will be a married, decrepit guy, and you guys will be the ones slaying it out here if you guys keep doing the right things. So yeah. My chick dresses up in various outfits like black canary catsuit and thigh boots and bondage, and it's the best fun times ever. It's a game changer. Yeah. Sexual compliance, right? And this is what the guys that pay for it kind of miss, right? Because when a girl does these things for you voluntarily, it's a different level of confidence, right? And I mentioned this, I know it's kind of weird, but the breast milk article that I wrote recently, of course, people, it's comical, it's funny, it's whimsical, whatever you want to call it. But I describe these like really weird, sexually almost creepy situations. The women were the one asking me if I wanted some. I was reluctant, but this is what makes dating fun. These stories, these weird stories, these situations you get. It's an adventure. It's fun. And this is what it's supposed to be. Dating was always supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be some stressed out way to find someone like to be your wife. It's not, it's supposed to be fun, right? And then eventually in all that mess, somebody's going to be like, "Hey, do you want to do this full time and just me?" And then you opt in or opt out. But have fun, guys, and you'll be surprised that some women are willing to do everything for you, almost anything for you, and not want a relationship with you. You're off the hook, and it makes you feel weird at first, but it's all voluntary, and that's what really no one will ever take away. No, not even no tradcon, anybody. They'll be like, "Hey, that's degenerate." I'm like, "Well, the woman was the one pushing for it, so where's your god now?" So yeah, yeah. I'm very curious about your therapy speak game now. I was referring to the horrifying view of the oh yeah, that was horrifying. Yeah, that is like the opposite of what I'm saying. So therapy speak is eventually it's like a mix. I'm not gonna go into super details because we want to move on with more stuff if you guys have questions. But um essentially you mix chick crack, right? If you're not familiar with chick crack, chick crack is basically using astrology, yeah, Myers Briggs, all these like esoteric reasons for why people are the way they are outside of them and their decisions. Because the world happens to women and men happen to the world, right? That's what they think. Um, and you use that and mix it with therapy, right? So I'll ask questions like, um, "Are you an intuitive person? I feel like you're ready for a new direction for your life. How are you feeling today?" Like on a date. But I usually like halfway through a date when the conversation gets stale, I say, "Oh, hey, my bad. I forgot to ask you. How are you feeling today?" And then there's like blah blah blah. And it's just like it's the therapy speak to get them talking. And then when they say something interesting or like something I want to talk about, then I hook on to that. You give them understanding, right? Um, and there's darker secrets to this, right? If you get to the point where you're getting open her up about a sad story and then you make her laugh and then you're back and forth, right? Emotional. She wants to feel engaged. She wants to feel like she's watching a movie or in a movie. She wants those emotions, right? So if you're able to get women to open up using therapy language, which is their default language, you'd be surprised how many times women will be like, "Well, you're so different from the other men." You're like, I feel like I was actually talking to a person, or you understand me. Like, what's your secret? Like, how many other women do you use this on, right? Not gonna go into too much detail, but I realized that like just speaking to women at their level and their language will get you pretty far. In a romantic sense, like as a friend, don't do that. Like if you're friend zoned or a woman isn't intending on sleeping with you or trying to find out if she will, don't do that. But and on a date, you know, um, act like her therapist, her sexy therapist that she sees, and you realize that It kind of works because men want to talk about sports and crypto and like what school you went to. It's a job interview, right? But for if you're like talking to her like some kind of like sexy therapist where she's saying her life, speaking and all that stuff, and you seem very interested, um, you'd be surprised how much that lowers women's guard and all that stuff. Now apply that with Kino, touching them correctly. Apply that with wearing something nice, with being attractive, fixing your hygiene and all that stuff. Um, and all that, and apply that with like maybe a very light teasing. You'd be surprised that that's all you need, and women will want you to sleep with them. So, yeah. Recently learned from speaking with an AI engineer that the AI boyfriend market is currently much larger than the AI girlfriend market. Women were the gooners the whole time. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's almost like you got to be an AI boyfriend on a date because women and men, they're going their own ways in terms of, their perspectives on life, political views, and all that stuff. So you just got to like step over on the other side of the aisle, play the game a little bit. And yeah, and I did that once. I used AI. A chick was leaving my life, right? Chick was like, "Hey, I don't think you want to be with me." And then I used AI. And maybe she used it back on me, but I used AI with her. And then I got her back, hooked up with her like 2 or 3 more times, right? She wanted to leave anyway, I could tell, but, like, that AI speak, that very understanding kind of, "I see what you mean, and why did I make you feel like this? Like, will you ever forgive me?" Like, "I see how I didn't value your feelings," and all that stuff. But, ping pong back and forth of being teasing, light teasing, and all that stuff, and you realize that that's crack to women. Women fall easily for that shit. And it's like the new version of it's crack. Like, how astrology used to be the whole big thing women are obsessed about? And then it was like Myers-Briggs, the INTJ, ENTJ bullshit. And then now it's AI, using AI to like figure them out, using therapy language and all that stuff. So yeah, that stupid Minotaur book proves that they have lost the plot to life, choosing a Minotaur book over. Yeah, guys, women's sexuality is something very dark. Like, we just like a vagina, tits, ass. Like, we are made to be like the ones that are just dirty. But women's sexuality is just something that you don't want to be in a girls group chat, right? When guys describe a girl like, "Oh, she has nice tits, bro," and that's pretty much it when we like describe a girl in a group chat or like that we slept with. But for women, it's just like, I don't want to know, like, the way they describe us. I don't want to know. So yeah. I can say I didn't value your feelings. Yeah, it works. It's disgusting, but it works, right? There was one time where I used to tear up on dates. I used to tell a sad story and tear up. I would always get laid. I would tell like a sad Navy story where I almost lost a friend to mental health, and they would tear up a little bit too. I'd hold their hand, and by the end of the day, then I go back to being happy feelings and all that stuff. Um, touched them right every time. It's hey guys, I'm not a good man. I'm disgusting, right? Just like all of you guys. But it worked. What works works. And these women want that. They're so bored. And it's like no matter how many forms of um entertainment we give women, they just don't seem it doesn't seem to be enough. Taylor Swift, Minotaur sex books, um adult films for men and women that women enjoy the hardcore stuff. Books, anime, video games um that appeal to them. Men, Tinder. When you guys realize it, entertaining women is a bottomless, near endless endeavor it's like Sisyphus pushing a boulder up the hill. It never ends, right? So you just realize that, yeah, you got to play the clown because women are bored as hell. That's all it is. They're the most. I cannot fathom how bored women are. Like right now, I'm having a blast, but there's women that will have their phone open, watching an anime or Netflix series, and then cooking at the same time. Like it's never enough. It's never enough for women, and if you try to entertain them forever, you're going to lose your mind. So yeah, I'm a field service engineer. So interesting hearing how other people approach these things. Yeah, nothing much. Yeah. So All right, let's take a quick break, guys, and we'll continue. Um, all righty. You guys have any other questions? I think I've covered every single question in the chat. Um, yeah, everyone likes that intro for some reason. Dude, that intermission intro, whatever I have, I thought it was just a throw. Like, no one's gonna like this. But out of all the intros and intermissions I have, it's everyone's favorite. And I don't know why. Maybe it's the sprites and all that stuff. But hey, guys, if you guys like it, you know, um, I use it to like take a break between streams. But yeah, play the clown. But the thing is, like, clowns had a lot of power in society. Like the jesters, they had a lot of. They could tell the king the truth. They were the only people. Sometimes were the only things that the king trusted. The only people. And I know it has a bad connotation, right? But remember, like, dating is supposed to be for planning your future. It's not a job interview. It's for fun, right? And you are the source of fun. And a lot of guys would be like, "Well, I don't want to be a clown, stupid, whatever." I'm like, "Bro, well, like, have you ever told a joke um in front of your friends and they all laugh? And you're just standing there like, I'm the funniest motherfucker alive." Like, you know that satisfaction you get from making all your friends laugh? It's the same thing. The satisfaction for making a girl like you. Holy shit. Are you really a clown or are you doing the impossible? Right? We call it clown for, because it's a placeholder word. But yeah, like I've made my whole friend group laugh and it's an amazing feeling. How validated do you feel when you like say something funny and everyone around you laughs? It's amazing. So yeah, yeah. But ah, it's just life. Let me see what else. Trying to think what else there is to talk about. Yeah, I mean, I had other intros, but not, those are the ones that did the most or did the best. I've gone through a couple. You guys remember this one? Yeah, that one was like my first one, or one of my, or not my first one, but one of my favorites. I think this one also was one of my favorites. This is the one I used in 2024, I think.
Is this the guy with the like the hat and the headphones in that picture?
Yeah, and that's what he looks like. I'm like, bro, like
Oh, that's rough.
literally,
You should not be talking.
I've never even like given my phone number to anyone that even looked close to you. Like I've never ever talked to anyone like you.
Oh my god.
That's the same video, but with a different intro. I used that last year. What happened to that video on what's your plan? Uh, if you guys want it, again, comment below what you guys would like to talk about, see, or expand on. And if, I need ideas. Like I'm busy, and sometimes when I had much of a pulse on what's going on, because sometimes I don't care about a lot of things because it's just like, what does this have to do with anything? But if you guys would like me to talk about it, I will. Um, Trying to think of another. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, women don't don't believe what they say, watch what they do. I don't care if what they say makes sense or like just look at what they do. What they say means nothing to a man. It shouldn't, right? Just look at unless it's a professional business setting, she is your boss superior, or it is a serious scenario where it requires you. But in a romantic setting, don't take women seriously. And whenever they talk about dating, it's just they see it from their own ego and their own solipsism. It precludes them having to understand the other gender. They just look at it through their own lens and all that stuff. So yeah. How do you stay consistent with your map? I started for 2 months and then burnout's rock bottom again. What do you mean map? Can you explain that? Is that a typo? Am I right in thinking that all the mainstream relationship discourse is people just talking past each other? Yes, because here's what happens. Um, First off, there's several layers of this as to why it's very confusing. First off, you have people that are trying to market their own brand, and it becomes a pissing contest. So if Dating Guru A and Dating Guru B are marketing on the same Twitter timeline, they're going to say that this is stupid, this little thing that people do is stupid, or I'm awesome, right? So they have to market themselves. So if they take every opportunity to tell everyone, look how many bitches I have, follow my program, right? And I'm like, okay, cool. They're just doing their marketing. Um, so they're more interested in making sales than actual reality and watching out for you. Now I have a little bit of morality in knowing that if I say certain things to men, it could really screw them over. And I can't sleep at night. You know, if I say these things to them because they might actually do it and end up hurting themselves, hurting women, and all that stuff. So I got to be a little bit cautious because I have a little bit of a conscience. Number two, introducing women into the discussion. Women always use the language of emotionalism, and men are using language of empiricism, meaning that you could talk to a guy, you can be, let's say, in a Twitter space where I'm like, hey, this is what I do. This is where you take a girl on the first date. This is what you say, and then take her to a second spot, whatever. And then she'll be like, but you just have to understand each other and have a connection. You see, like that's emotional language. Like, what does that mean, a connection? That means nothing to a guy that's trying to figure out how to get laid. Whereas a guy's like, do this, it's empirical. It's just straight up, do this, do that, don't do this. And boom, you got it. And that's another reason why a lot of relationship stuff's talking past each other. And number three, it's that we're afraid when it comes to dating and women and red pill and all that stuff, there are certain unflattering truths about women that everyone is afraid to say, or is afraid of getting canceled, or is trying to appeal to a female audience. If you talk about dating, if you talk about red pill, there is no way to appeal to a female audience. If you do, it will water down your content, and you're constantly watching out for what you say, and you cannot get to the bottom. A lot of dating requires selfishness and accepting the worst parts of their nature, and women don't like that. Women want us to think they're awesome, and any guy that like threatens that is threatening their own survival. So that's why they like constantly just like, no, Nuke is broken. He's a broken man. It's just yeah, it's just they don't want men in large in mass to find out their true nature because they feel like we would all just lock them up in a cage somewhere for them being terrible. So they have to kind of like it makes them feel uncomfortable. So there you go. Oh, male action plan. How do you stay consistent with your male action plan? I started for 2 months, burnout. It's rock bottom again and again. Have you done an assessment? Right, you got to be honest with yourself. I think that's the hardest part for men when they're going through the initial stages um of their male action plans. Like, hey, you're allowed to look back at interactions and be like, what did I do wrong? What did I do right? Why did I keep getting this? I can't tell you because I don't know what your male action plan is, and I can't see you, I can observe you. So you will have to understand, hey, what is it that I'm doing wrong and where? And that takes an incredible amount of honesty with yourself, and that's hard. That is the hard part, being honest with yourself. And the more honest you are with yourself, the better you will be off, right? But you may not be 100% honest with yourself, and that's why you keep failing. And that's why most people fail. Am I right in thinking that all mainstream relationship discourse? Okay, we talked about that. Going back to where we were talking about the Sunday show, the guy who always says the right thing at the right time. How do you train for that? 60 Commandments of Poon, mystery method. First I'll start with like what not to say and think of the most likable people you ever met and what made them so likable. Kind of like think back what made this friend, this employer, this coworker, this girlfriend, this my parent, my dad. What made them what made me like them so much? Oh, they always asked about my day. Oh, they always knew what to say, when to say it. And that it really is game is like knowing what to say and when to say it, right? And essentially that's really where you start. Um, you need to get out of your head and think of the other person. Um, and not say things that make you feel like you sound cool. Say things that they would like to hear from you. And think of it like this. If someone you didn't know kept brown nosing you or giving you compliments, you would be like, who the fuck is this guy? What does he want from me? Right. But if someone you didn't know or just getting to know was giving you too much of a hard time, you'd be like, okay, who the hell is this? But if someone gave you a sincere compliment, or gave you busted your balls a little bit, but in a nice way, you'd be like, okay, this guy's kind of trustworthy, and you move on. Humans, in terms of like these kind of things, when someone wants something from you, you kind of have your guard up, right? Women know that they want that you want to have sex, so they have their guard up naturally. They want to have sex too, but they just want to feel like it just happened, not that you had like a master plan. So, um, saying the right thing at the right time takes calibration and reps. And what helps you the most is being in social situations, being around attractive women, keeping things chill. Like, don't have this master plan of things to say in your head all the time. Just relax and be considerate. Like, you don't go from being clueless to, being this guy that just says crazy things to women and women swoon and fawn, right? Take it slow. Say the safe things first. And then over time, kind of open up a little more, say something a little bit more risky, but start with safe, easy, basic things. And then, over time, then maybe teasing, sexual teasing, whatever. But um, realize that there is a time and place for everything. And if it's a process and you have to building those social skills, it's mostly calibration, meaning that, hey, it's 10% game, like, picking up on signals and all that stuff. But also it's like 90% calibration, right? And the internet doesn't help with that. Um, a lot of your weird coworkers aren't with that. Just go out with people that are just normal and have conversations, socialize. Don't treat every interaction with women as an opportunity to have sex. Get to know them and realize that, like, yeah, this is the work. The work is being around women. Just be around women and friend zone all of them for a while. Be cool as hell with them. Um, don't be the guy that does shit for them at your own detriment, right? But just have some female friends. Learn. Get in their head. Be super friendly to everyone, and you realize that that's the only way to calibrate is to actually socialize. And then over time, you realize, oh, I can see how me acting like this or saying this is kind of weird to most people. But sometimes as people, we're so in our head that we don't even know, we don't even see it, right? We're inside the construction, we're not outside. We haven't stepped back. You don't have the perspective enough to know what you're doing wrong until you actually talk to people in a non-sexual way, right? Because that sexual desire and like, is going to blind you to a lot of reality during a conversation with the woman. So, why do you think all these chicks are on meds and therapy completely shows they are crumbling by not doing what they're supposed to do? Well, they're forced to take the role of being a man. That's my thing. It's just they're living alone. They're having to solve lots of problems, and they're living in a world where it requires masculinity, and they don't have. They've been told that men are not trustworthy through media, their parents, their friends, and they have had examples, so they have to man up, and that's tough for women. They feel that's not women aren't designed for that. But hey, it's not my problem. But at the same time, yeah, life's hard. They have to take care of sick family members. They have to sleep with multiple men in order to get a man they like. All these things wear women out, and eventually it's just like, hey, I can't do it. and they go on SSRIs to numb the pain. But hey, it's what they wanted, so yeah. Yeah, you're probably pushing too hard in the beginning. If you guys want a consultation with me, because you guys seem to have like a lot of like deep problems, you guys can always book one. I'll put my calendar link in the chat. I'm pretty much booked for. Well, you guys can see. I haven't I know I got meetings tomorrow, but you guys can see it. Yeah, so uh I got meeting tomorrow, meeting Friday, and a meeting on Tuesday. So I'll share the link. There's a 30-minute free one. If you guys here's a 30-minute free, just talk quickly for 30 minutes about whatever. And then if you want to actually do a full session, you pay full price and we can talk and all that stuff. So it's a 30-minute free one. If you guys would just like to pay and get a full hour, here's the full hour. And as we go more in depth, 30 minutes, you're not gonna be able to maybe not cover enough and all that stuff. But yeah. Uh and then if you guys want to subscribe to Substack, 100 articles done. You guys are welcome to subscribe. It's $7 and you get 100 articles based on all my experience in dating. Really, it's everything you need. Obviously, you might need some red pill fundamentals and sidebar, but in terms of like the modern dating scene, it's everything I've ever learned or picked up is in those 100 articles. And they're short. They're not like long, super long ones. So give it a shot if you guys are into it. So, um, yeah. Yeah, that's okay. And guys, what you're looking for isn't you're looking for a eureka moment. You're looking for like that, like, oh shit, this was me the whole time. Like a thing because self-awareness while you're dating, there's a lot of things built into you that are not letting you see the forest for the trees. You're in your head so much that there's that entitlement that like, hey, some guy told you on YouTube that if you just grind it out, bro, you'll get Woodman, and you're just like, yeah. And then you realize I grinded it out, but like what's wrong? And you can't see it from where you're at because you're inside the problem. Step back, stepping back a little bit. Sometimes you need a break. Sometimes you need to socialize. Sometimes you need a friend zone woman for a month and just hang out and be friendly with a woman. You realize like, oh, I see, but I can't do that for you because I don't know you. But this is what happens: is that a lot of guys get frustrated. They're like, but I'm like, you can't see the problem because you're inside of the problem. Step back. You know, um, and you realize that sometimes that requires you getting off the internet. Sometimes that requires you taking a week off from work. Do what you must because we all have sticking points. We all have mental blocks that we've been given by society or ourselves or whatever that do not let us. Some of us, it's like sexual issues, right? Where you want to have sex with her, but you think it's wrong to like push for sex. A lot of it is like, hey, I've been taking women to this shitty bar, and I thought it was like what I was supposed to do. But when I take her to a nicer place, they tend to come back and want to see me again. Or like, hey, I started dressing better, and women started complimenting on my dress and my cologne. So in the beginning stages, write down, like not write down, but like make a mental note of these little positive feedback from women because women won't tell you. They cannot. And that's the hard part of dating. Women will not tell you that you're doing the right thing or the wrong thing, right? They show you through your actions, but like whenever you get a little bit of feedback, like if 2 or 3 girls in a row compliment your cologne, that's your cologne. That's what you're gonna get, right? If you keep getting last minute resistance, like think, okay, what hyper focus on where you're having trouble. And you realize that sometimes it's just you don't have the perspective, but it will come. I promise. The perspective will come. It just takes time. So yeah. So yeah. And then guys, like and subscribe um to YouTube, to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Twitter. I am sure you guys Twitter is just a blast. I'm just running circles around everyone. I went viral twice. I finally went from 22.7 thousand followers to 22.8. amazing. It took me 5 months to move the needle more than 50 or 150 to 100 followers. And I don't know what's going on Twitter, but hey, if I gotta go viral twice in one day to get 100 more followers, then I'll do it. So be it, you know. Um, yeah, Rule Zero was fun. So uh, check out Rule Zero last weekend. You know, a lot of good stuff in there. And yeah, these Q&As will continue, and you guys are welcome to come inside. I am thinking about making them members only after they stream, so I can give the members a little bit of exclusivity and giving them some stuff. But I'm still thinking about that. And yeah, guys, yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for the super chats. And I will catch you guys later.